So, all the complaints on the channel about rising prices of holidays and being ripped off in Spain, well, you needn't look any further than your average British airport before heading away on holiday to see how you guys can get ripped off. And I'm over here at Bristol Airport, travelling back to Palma today. I can't wait. I've had a lovely holiday, but it is very, very cold here. It's about 17 degrees Celsius. So keep watching into this video, and I'm going to let you know about the hidden costs that you're going to face if you're heading to the airport on holiday. Okay, so we're going to start this video by taking a look at the brand new Bristol Airport. I'm right outside the brand new transport interchange, and look how it's changed here. Now, regulars to Bristol Airport, you're not going to be getting the bus to and from the outside of this terminal here. Look, we've got this whole new transport interchange. Go through here. This is where you're going to find your buses, your taxis, and also the pick-up and drop-off point. But more to the point as well, you're also going to find Marks and Spencer's, which is where we've just been, over to the food hall. But anyway, let's head on into departures. Let's see how busy it is as we head on into the final couple months of the holiday season in the Mediterranean. And we've come into pretty much an empty departure hall this morning. We're flying out at 11:30, though I would have thought it would have been a lot busier actually. We are flying EasyJet. Let's have a quick look at the board. So we are hoping for a seamless journey today. Look, I can't see sign of any delays actually going out this morning. Flights are boarding as normal. Anyway, let's head on up through security. So, are we going to be seeing less people travelling this autumn than in previous years? By the looks of it, it's very, very quiet over here at Bristol Airport. Could be mistaken for travelling over the winter here. I'm very surprised. This is the 1st of September, and while admittedly schools are going back in the next day or so, I would have thought we'd have seen other families travelling, maybe families with smaller children. Obviously not today, and not from this airport. Just to give you a few views here of the new transport interchange from over here at Bristol Airport. Obviously to cope with the amount of travellers that we are now going to have going through this particular airport. But look, just to show you what I mean here, look how quiet it is over here at Bristol Airport this morning. Come on, let's head on departures.
And great news, Bristol Airport has the new CT scanners in place, meaning you can carry liquids up to 2 litres through security without having to remove them from your bag.
So, as always, we got stopped for carrying cheese once again. We had 2 blocks of red Leicester cheese from Waitrose, but they let us through. Now bear that in mind, if you're carrying any kind of food, it's quite likely it's going to be picked up by the scanners, but it's not to stop you from taking it through. But the good news is as well, is that we got through in under 4 minutes, which is just incredible actually. I know I've said that the airport's very, very quiet today, but we were advised by EasyJet to get here 3 hours before our flight, which is quite incredible. We are here 2 hours before our flight. We don't have any check-in luggage. But anyway, we're just making our way through duty free. We're going to go and grab a coffee, and I've got some news for you. Just coming up past the water here, £1.95 for a bottle of water. Anyway, come on, let's head on into the departures area. And my goodness, what a difference to the crowds that we saw earlier on this summer. We just don't see a busy departure lounge over here at Bristol this morning, not at all. So just looking up at the departure board here, you don't tend to have too long to hang around actually. So our gate number is going to be called at 10:40. It's currently 10:05. We've got just over half an hour, which gives us a little bit of time here. Just have a quick look through the shops and just pick up some supplies from over here at Bristol. Okay, so what's going on with British airports? Well, the first thing I'm going to say is that even before you go on holiday, even before you check in for your flight, if you're getting dropped off, you're going to have to pay. In the case of Bristol Airport, you're going to have to pay £7 to be dropped off if you want to be dropped off right outside the terminal. Now, there is a free way to get dropped off at Bristol Airport. There is a silver zone parking, which is about a mile or so away from the airport, and there is a free connecting bus which will bring you you into the transport interchange. However, I do have bad news for you if you are in a wheelchair, and that is that you're still going to have to pay £7 to be dropped off in front of the terminal here. You are going to have a little bit more time. Normal drop-offs, I think you've got about a 10-minute limit. After that point, the price is going to go up. I'm just going to put the prices on the screen here just so you can see. And in order for you to get dropped off as well, and to have longer time, if you are travelling with a wheelchair, you're going to need your blue badge as well, and to also have a little bit more time to get out of the car and also up to the terminal. Now, if you are taking your blue badge with you, it is going to mean that the person then leaving the drop-off area is going to have to contact somebody to say that they have dropped off a disabled or a wheelchair passenger. So I don't know what's going to happen there. I don't know if you're going to get charged more. Fingers crossed you won't, but just to let you know. Now, there is a free way that if you are travelling with a wheelchair that you can actually get into Bristol Airport terminal, and that is once again by bus via the Silver Zone. However, there is only space on the buses for one wheelchair, and on the basis that I think it's about 15,000 special assistance passengers fly through Bristol Airport every single month, well, you can do the maths here and you can see as well that it's going to be hit and miss as to whether you can get your wheelchair onto the bus. I personally don't think that is such a great thing. Let me know in comments what you think, but if you are a wheelchair passenger, a flight passenger, and you're coming to take a flight, then you're probably going to want to get dropped off here right outside the terminal, and it is going to cost you. You're not going to have the same access to free transport as other able-bodied flight passengers.
And 24 out of the 29 big UK airports charge to get dropped off outside departures at the airport terminal. And while it's possible to avoid these fees if you're able-bodied, you will be taking a risk if you're travelling with your wheelchair.
Also, as well, just bear in mind too, if you are not going to pay the £7 to be dropped off, make sure you leave a little bit of extra time for your journey. I haven't actually tried this whole Silver Zone area yet, so I don't know how long it takes to get from there to the terminal by bus, but I would allow at least another 15 or 20 minutes onto your journey before you check in. So, what's the difference here to being dropped off over at a UK airport compared to a Spanish airport? Well, I have to say, over in Palma, if we're going to the airport, if friends or family are taking us to the airport, well, we get a 15-minute free drop-off time, which is fantastic. It allows us to be taken to the airport, to be taken to the front of the terminal, and for the person as well dropping us off to help us with our bags into the main departures area. It gives them time to then go back to the car and drive out without having to pay a penny. And we've got 15 minutes to do that, not this kind of this 10 minutes £7 charge either, which I think is a little bit crazy, and I'd like to know what you think in the comments. But it's free over in Spain, it's not free here, so I'm hardly surprised that you guys are quite angry about pricing as well. If you're getting charged to get dropped off at the airport and you're facing a charge even before you check in, it's just not great. It just isn't great. And I'm pretty sure as well it's pretty much the same throughout Europe as well. Throughout most European airports there is a free time, a free drop-off time as well, that you can drive up to the front of the terminal to take out your bags and to drop off passengers and then to head off. Especially as well if you're not able-bodied, if you are travelling in the wheelchair. I mean, the chances are that if you're going to be travelling in the wheelchair, you're not going to be going over to that Silver Zone and keeping your fingers crossed there isn't a whole queue of people waiting in wheelchairs to get the bus over to the terminal. You know, the chances are you are going to pay that £7, and in my opinion that's not really, in my opinion, an equal opportunity to get here for free. But there you have it, there you have it. Anyway, I do have a little bit more flight news for you, and it's from our friends over at Ryanair. Now, we are travelling EasyJet today, and just to add in as well, I did get an alert yesterday from EasyJet to say that they would be opening the check-in desks 3 hours before our flight departure. Now, as we're travelling just with hand luggage today, we didn't get here until 2 hours before our flight. But as you could see as we entered the departure lounge, it just wasn't busy today at all. We didn't have the huge number of flights going out at the same time. We certainly don't have the volumes of traffic either. But just bear that in mind. It does look like EasyJet check-in desks are opening up 3 hours before your flight, so you may want to take advantage of that. However, news from Ryanair, news from our friends over at Ryanair, it looks like they're going to be getting rid of any check-in for flights at the airport, and you're going to have to check in for your flights using the Ryanair app or the Ryanair website before heading on over to the airport, and that's coming into effect in around November. This is mainly going to affect those without smartphones. If you are travelling without a smartphone, you're going to have to ask somebody to check in for your flight before you get here, and maybe bring a printout of that boarding pass, because you're no longer going to be able to check in for your flight at the airport. It also begs the question as well, what happens if your battery dies on your phone? What happens if something happens to your phone and it goes missing? Well, my advice is to always take a printout of your boarding pass with you, regardless of how you travel. Actually, I think that's absolutely essential. But Ryanair are assuring passengers that as long as you've checked in before you get to the airport, you're not going to have problems getting on. But you are going to need a printout of that little barcode to get through security, because over here at Bristol, and also indeed in Palma too, as you go into the security area, you do need that barcode to get through the security gates and then follow security through. Anyway, it looks like our flight is now being called. That's just a little bit of news from the low-cost airlines today, but we're going to head on now over to the screens again. We're going to head on over to get our flight. Okay, so looking up at the board, I can see that we're boarding over at gate 14, and it looks like we're on time. Fantastic news. Now, we have had to juggle around our luggage a little bit. We've got a backpack and a wheelie case, and we obviously don't want to check in any luggage. And I do have a new gadget as well, which I'm going to show in a separate video, which has allowed us to vacuum pack all of our clothes. It's absolutely fantastic. But let's see if we can get through with all our stuff on this flight without having to pay any more. And look, you can see it's got a little bit busier over here at Bristol Airport. Maybe a few more flights going out. Let's head on over in the direction of gate 14. Now, it's always a little bit of a hike actually to get down to the boarding gates over here at Bristol Airport. Also bear that in mind. They don't make any flight announcements over here, and they don't in many of the other airports around the UK either. You've got to keep your eye on the board, otherwise you could risk missing your flight. So don't get too caught up having a pre-flight pint, because you could end up missing it. But anyway, we don't see a flight closing sign, so we're in good time. So you can see as well that they give an estimation as to how long it's going to take to get to the gate, and we can see it's going to take about 6 minutes. Don't forget to get special assistance if you do have trouble walking, if you do have mobility issues, because this airport is only getting bigger. And just to give you an idea of the distance, we're only at gate 11, so a 6-minute walking time is probably quite accurate. It's going to take a little bit longer actually if you are a slower walker. Also bear that in mind too. You can just see, look, we've got a couple of EasyJet flights right at the end of the terminal here, and I guess one of these is ours. So there's no time to even hang around today. They're boarding us straight away, and we are speedy boarding because we have got an extra bag with us. We've got the wheelie trolley as well as our hand luggage. Check this out. Got a bit of sunshine here in Bristol today. Got to say the temperatures have warmed up as well. It's actually really pleasant. I think it's around 30 degrees in Palma. And they're keeping us out here on the runway, I guess until we're ready to board. Good job it's not raining. I have to say we have had a few showers coming through the southwest this morning. And I'd like to think they wouldn't have us out on the runway if there's another shower due, but it looks like they do want to get us on the plane and away on time. We've got an 11:35 takeoff time this morning. And look, you can see that the plane is being fueled. A little bit of maintenance being made, and I can just see the luggage is on the conveyor belt going onto the plane as well. We are moving pretty fast today. I am impressed. But at the same time, I do see showers coming up from the southwest too.
flight time in the region of 2 hours, cruising altitude of 37,000 feet, doing speed over the ground of around 500 miles an hour. You're sitting on board an Airbus 320 series aeroplane today. We'd operate several types of aircraft here at EasyJet, so please pay careful attention to the safety demonstration the cabin crew are going to give you, as there are some differences between this aeroplane and the others we operate. Once that's done, feel free to enjoy the flight southbound. I'll be flying the aeroplane today, so I'll go back to some routing details and hopefully an early time of arrival into Palma. And I do hope you enjoy this EZY 2711 service.
So we're just pulling back now, and we are more or less leaving on time. We're hoping for an early arrival into Palma this afternoon. But look at the storm clouds building right in front of me. My goodness me, this is a good time to get out of the UK and back towards the sunshine. I think I'll be able to put the coat away though for a couple of months more. So check out the views here. Look, we're just coming down the south coast. Got some wonderful views today. I'm quite pleased with this actually. I thought it was going to be very, very cloudy. You can see we've got cloud bubbling up across the south west of the UK today. It looks like it's clearing up as we're heading on in the direction of France. Absolutely sweeping views this afternoon of what looks like Alcudia Port. I don't think we've ever flown out this far actually into the water. Look at this, looking all the way down towards Port-au-Prince. Absolutely stunning. Looking down as well, you can see the disused power station, the far side of Alcudia Port, on the way to Alcanada.
From UK, so it's 2:43 at this moment. Electronic devices may now be used. Keep your seatbelt fastened and remain seated until seatbelt sign is switched off. It's for your own safety and others around you.
Oh look, I can just see my old place of work there. Look, that circular building right to the left-hand side of the Cobra Aeronauts hangar. That's exactly where my old office used to be. And well, it is still there, except I'm not in it. And we are on an air bridge, which is nothing cool and air conditioned. I think the heat really is going to hit us when we head outside. Now let's see what border control is like today. Are we going to experience queues? I really hope not. Now we have had varying reports of queues at border control over, well, throughout the year actually. We were hit by queues back in February. Are we going to get them today? I don't know. It's always hit and miss. Every day is different at the airport. But look, we've got the flight waiting to go back to Bristol. I think they'll be quite happy it's on time. Let's head on over to the E-gates. Now my daughter is 15, so in theory today, like she has this year, she should be able to use the electronic gates, fingers crossed. And because we're residents here, we won't have to get our passports stamped. Now don't forget to subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already. We're just a month and a week away from the new EES, the entry and exit system, coming into force, which will be rolled out throughout Europe from October the 12th onwards. Will it cause widespread chaos? Well, let's wait and see, but subscribe to the channel and I'll bring you updates all about this. So we're at the far end of Palma Airport here, we're at the far end of the new terminal. Just see people waiting to board their flights. Just passing by O'Leary Sports Bar towards the passport check area. Anyway, I think I'm going to have to switch the camera off. We'll see you on the other side, I'll let you know how it goes. Okay, so getting through passport control took around 3 to 4 minutes. It was as quick coming through here as it was going through Bristol, my goodness me. But what a relief, we had no queues today. Just casting a quick eye to my left here, I remember a few months ago we had quite a few building works going on, but it looks like things are finally getting completed over here at Palma Airport. I do say that though, actually looking at the right hand side, I think it's still looking a little bit of a mess. But anyway, we've got about 10 minutes before we can get our bus back to the southwest of the island. We're heading in the direction of Port Alzenaus, Palma Nova, Magaluf, Santa Ponsa. We're on that bus. We're not going that far, but I think we're going to be able to get it today. So like I said, every day at Palma Airport is different. Every day is different, but we were very, very lucky today at border control. And it's hardly surprising because over at Bristol there was just hardly anybody travelling. I don't know what it's going to be like in the arrivals lounge here in Palma Airport, whether we're going to see quite a few passengers in waiting for their luggage. Let's have a quick look. It does actually look quite busy here. Quite a few people waiting for their bags.
And just to let you know too that the display screens telling you where to pick up your luggage are still in operation.
This is why I say try and travel with cabin baggage only. And the arrivals hall is absolutely packed. My goodness me, is this one of the days of the workers' strikes we have over here in Palma? I'm not so sure, but all I can say is we do have a lot of people waiting for baggage over here at Palma Airport. Goodness me, I am so pleased we vacuum packed our belongings. Anyway, my daughter is hightailing it in the direction of the bus stop. Stick with me, but just look how busy it is here today. Goodness me, every single luggage belt here is full. And it's even more packed down this side of the luggage hall too. Look, flight just come in from Zurich. Anyway, everyone, we're gonna run for our bus now. You can see how busy it is today at Palma Airport. You can see how busy it just wasn't over at Bristol this morning. Not only that, one thing I've just noticed is we're hightailing it for the bus. Got a little bit of a queue for the taxis, and we don't have that usual supply of taxis waiting here at Palma Airport. Normally taxis are quite easy to come by. Anyway, I can just see our bus has come in a little bit further along here, the A11 heading to the southwest. And we have a little bit of a new bus station here at Palma Airport. Look, the A11 bus is right up ahead. We've got the EMT A1 bus heading to Palma City Centre to my right hand side, but this is now a new area to pick up the TIB buses. Thank you very much for watching. I will be travelling again soon, but in the meantime, I look forward to seeing you on the next one. Goodbye for now.